It's August, the last Friday in August, just a few weeks ago. We're in the kitchen after dinner. It's me and Andrew and our almost 18-year-old son, Jonah. Jonah is standing with his legs spread far apart, kind of shifting his weight from foot to foot, and he's holding his groin with both hands, and he's making these kind of animal noises. And Andrew and I are doing what anybody would do in this situation, which is to say we are laughing at him like there's no tomorrow. It's been a rough August. Every year since we've been together, Andrew goes away in the summer. He's a teacher and he goes to summer camp, sleepaway boys camp all summer. And when we were first together, I used to go with him, and then we had the kids, and so I would stay home with the kids, and that was also kind of rough. But now, Emily, she's 21 and she's launched, and Jonah has been going to camp with Andrew since he was 8 years old. He has his father's love of camp coursing through his veins. And I stay home all alone in my own house for 8 weeks each and every summer, which is exactly as awesome as it sounds. It's great. Only this year, it's not awesome. Because the first week in August, Andrew calls and he goes, "My neck hurts." And it woke him up in the middle of the night. And as the days go on, the pain is getting worse and worse. It goes from behind his ear all the way down to his fingertips. And it's getting ever more intense, and he is determined to last the summer at camp. So he is getting through this with not much more than Advil and the stuff they give him at the infirmary, which is called BioFreeze. BioFreeze, right, is like Bengay for the 21st century. It's just repackaged, so it sounds cooler. And it's this mentholated cream, and he's rubbing it on his arm all day, every day. And he says it doesn't really do much, but at least this sensation is a welcome distraction from the agony that his neck is causing. And I'm getting ever increasingly worried now, because that's how I show my love. I worry about people. And there is this one kind of bright moment when Andrew calls me one night and he says, "I put the BioFreeze on and I forgot to wash my hands," he says. And then I'm walking around my room, over the evening, he goes, and I absentmindedly scratched my nuts, And that was, in fact, a new and different sensation and a distraction. And we had a big laugh about that. Finally, camp is over, and thank God, Jonah has a driver's license. So Jonah's not another thing to manage through all of this. Jonah drives Andrew home, which is great. And within a week of MRIs and doctor appointments and hospitals, Andrew's having emergency surgery on his neck. They have to fuse 3 vertebrae, and the whole thing is terrifying. They do this in a surgical center. Just so you know, apparently getting sliced to the spine in 21st century America does not require a hospital visit. I can't even imagine what does if that doesn't. But we go to the surgical center and he comes home, and Jonah really rises to the occasion, which is fantastic. He goes and he gets things for Andrew and he sits with him on the couch and he watches ball games, and I am so grateful for my son and his maturity. The maturity of my almost 18-year-old son is really something in all of this. And that's a welcome change. I was ill-prepared to raise a son. I grew up with one sister in kind of a matriarchal clan, and then I had this boy, and people told me stuff. They were like, "They're always hungry, and they're super messy, and they smell bad, and they're so impulsive, man. There is like no end to the jackassery." And I seriously believed that this was like an urban parenting legend. This couldn't possibly all be true, but it is. Every word of this is true. The essential nature of teenage boys is that by the time they say, "What would happen if I," like they're already in the air. You guys, it's happening. And it doesn't happen right away. Like at first, he's this little squishy, lovely creature. And then one day, he's 10 years old, and Andrew and I go out to the car in the morning. We're going to go get bagels. And something bad has happened. Our home has been vandalized overnight. And we call the police to file a police report because vandals have come, criminals have come to our homestead, and they have spray painted on the house and the deck and the trees and the garbage can, and we file our police report. And it's only later that afternoon that we say to each other, why did the vandals spray paint smiley faces on the house? Why did the vandals write YOLO on the garbage cans? Why did the vandals write sacks, not sex, rules on our trees? Why did they misspell sex? Because it was Jonah and Mitchell who did this, who spray painted on my house. Jonah's 13, he comes home from camp. What did you do the last night of camp? I say to him. He says, we played fire tennis. And I'm like, the fuck? What is that? You take a tennis ball, he tells me, and you spray it with Axe. And then you go to the tennis courts, and somewhere they got contraband matches, and they light the tennis ball on fire, he tells me, and they smack it back and forth across the tennis net. Look, again, the fuck? Like, this is not something that Terry and Lisa Wolfish ever did. This is not something anybody with 2 X chromosomes would ever do in a million years. Jonah's 16, he gets a driver's license, and this is awesome. He thinks he has grown wings. I think I have grown a personal assistant. And I send him, please, Jonah, I say, go to the gas station, get a gallon of milk, and while you're there, fill the Prius. And he does. With diesel. I know. You think that's not possible, but I am here to tell you that it is possible if you try hard enough. It fits. I know, you think it doesn't fit. It fits. Let me tell you. And $1,200 later, you can have your car back. And this is our lives with a teenage boy in the house. But he's helping Andrew, and it's great. And a little time goes by, and there we are in the kitchen. Andrew's gone back to teaching. Jonah's gone back to school. A little air has come back into our lives. Dinner's over, and Andrew's rubbing the biofreeze on his arm, right? And Jonah goes, what's that? And Andrew tells him, and he goes, what does it feel like? And Andrew says, it just tingles a little, and he tells him the story about scratching his nuts, and Jonah laughs. He goes, well, how bad was that? And Andrew goes, well, you can find out. And Jonah's like, I'm not doing that. And Andrew goes, come on, it's not that bad. And Jonah's like, no way. And Andrew goes, I'll pay you $10. And now Jonah's considering the offer. And he goes, 20. And Andrew goes, 10. Jonah goes, all right. So Jonah goes upstairs to put on his gym shorts, and he comes down, and he says to Andrew, how much do I have to put on? And Andrew holds his hands in front of him like a soup bowl. And I catch Andrew's eyes, and I go, and just shake my head. And I mouth the words, and Andrew goes, a tablespoon. And Jonah goes, okay. And Andrew loads the spoon with the biofreeze. And now Jonah's thinking, I can tell Jonah's thinking like maybe not, but he's not backing down from a dare, and there's $10 on the line. So he goes, all right, I'll do it. And he takes the spoon, and he grabs the biofreeze, and he pulls out the front of his shorts, and he sticks his hand down his pants. When the kids were little, I used to say, when somebody fell, you'll see this, Chris, when somebody fell, there was this moment of silence between impact and crying, right? And the longer the silence, the worse the crying was gonna be. And this was kind of like that. Jonah sticks his hand down his pants, and for just a second, the room goes silent, and we wait. And Jonah starts to move, and he goes, oh. Oh, wow. What's that? And Andrew and I start laughing now because, like, we have just gone through a situation where somebody was in danger. Nobody's in danger here. Like, presumably nobody ever died from a little biofreeze to the nuts. And everything starts escalating. Jonah starts running through the living room, through the dining room, and back to the kitchen. And he's clearly playing this up, enjoying the opportunity to yell, "Oh, fuck! Oh my balls! It's like 1,000 needles in my taint," in front of his parents. And the more he's yelling, the more we're laughing. And everything is back to something akin to normal in our house. And soon enough, it's done. I Venmo Jonah his $10. And he goes upstairs and he takes a shower, and Andrew and I are left alone in the kitchen. And I'm scrubbing the pots because Andrew's still not well enough for chores yet. And I'm washing the pots and I keep catching Andrew's eye and we start laughing all over again. And in this moment, I know something about raising my son that I didn't know before. I know that inside every almost 18-year-old boy, there's sort of two creatures, right? One is a child desperate to become a man, and the other is a man determined to remain a child. And it's my job to love them both. Thank you.